Well, hello everybody. Hello, it's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and today we are going to do a little bit of some art therapy. So we are going to take all these pieces, and you can go and make this a full wreath. And using a stamping platform is awesome, but really any kind of stamps that you have, it could be flowers, it could be anything that has like this really cool kind of just a pattern is what you can use to help build a card, kind of like what we're doing today. And so I'm using this, and I absolutely love the colors. I love that they put colors on this. So hello, Danielle. And so I kind of went with that. And a little sneaky peeker here. This is one of my new digital stamps or printable stamps. This one actually has a color with it. I'm going to be giving it to you both colored and also non-colored when it gets released. So this is a little sneak peek of what this is. And what I did is I went ahead and just printed it on a sheet of paper. And I printed them, and there might also be some like ready to just cut and have it centered so you don't have to cut it out, so it's part of the card itself. So I actually printed this out on one sheet of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then I measured how big this piece was going to be because I wanted it matted. And so this ended up being 3 inches. So I just cut 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, and I made sure I centered all of these. And so now I have 3 slimline cards that are ready to go. Super simple, right? So it's already colored. And so then I just found some matching colors. So let's build our first card. This is so simple. So what I did is I'm placing, so this is actually, instead of like, you could stamp this. So this is a card. Think of all the fun, beautiful, big, bold stamps that you have or really cool sentiments. And I just love this one. I thought, inhale confidence, exhale doubt, because this is what today is all about. Trying to relieve the stress, slough off the feelings that you have in your life right now, which I'm sure we all have those. And this is not what I would call a super technical, magnets like to attach to each other. Okay, we're going to flip it. A super technical card in the sense that you have to be like super detailed. This is just stamp and color and simple coloring at that. Flowers are great for that, but any big sentiment that you have would work, and you can place that wherever you want on your card. You could also make your card, you could have the sentiment this way and your card can go vertical. I thought it looked kind of cool as a horizontal card. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Denise. So it's just an easy card. So I just took the stamps into my MISTI. This is where I'm going to have the sentiment, and totally you could stamp this. You could use any of those, like if you have what I would call like journal card pieces or whatever you want, you could do, and then just play around with where you want to have your designs. I happen to have enough stamps on this particular set that I just placed a whole bunch on here, and I'm using almost the same design. I changed this one up because it just looked a little too funny. It looked like it was some sort of virus or bacteria. It was a little too like, I think it's supposed to go like inside. So the whole point of these stamps is you can see like there's a hole in here. Well, some of these are small enough that you'd be able to take one of these stamps and place it in there. So you can really build out the mandala. I'm just using them as border pieces. So it's kind of fun in that respect. And so here we're going to go ahead and stamp this all out. And I have them half coming off. Now, if you only have like one really nice flower that would look pretty, you could stamp it, move the flower over, stamp it again, and have them coming off the page. I think it works really well. Just something different. So stamping it up, and we're going to stamp this a couple of different times to make sure we get a really good clean ink. I messed up and my paper moved and I did not realize it. So I'm going to make sure that I have this fully in the corner, like really wedged in the corner, so I know it lines up perfectly every single time. If you want to have this so it lines up, and this is why you have the grids, you could also line this up on your grids and just make sure before you stamp it doesn't shift, because sometimes it gets staticky. I'm just using my corner as my guide. All right, so come in and stamp, push firm. I think this kind of a card really does work well if you've got a stamping platform, because look, you're not going to get a really good clean stamp. And if you did notice, I shifted this stamp and I also changed that one out from the previous time. So we're going to stamp again. And the mistake I made last time, really ink everything up, is I didn't make sure that this was fully like nested in the corner again. Oops. And we're also going to shift that little guy because I messed up. It's stamped on the washi tape holding my magnet. So really get in there, push, push, push. I did like 4 versions. See, this one needs a little bit more. This looks good. That looks good. these ones, I guess I just didn't get it good enough. So doing it again. But that one looks really cool. I love the crispness of this one. This one looks awesome. So just think of the stamps. Oops, sorry, I just hit my camera. Think of the stamps that you have in your set, or this one's available too. Links to all my supplies are down below. So just think of what you have in your supplies at this moment and think of how you can turn them. There we go. I think I just need to do center this one more, a little bit more on this guy. That one looks pretty good. This big one seems to be my biggest problem. I think because I have so many stamps so close together, it's having a hard time, and I'm just not pushing down the right spots. So it's right here. My dog has found a box, and maybe I'm just overdoing it, but I like the boldness of it. I think it looks cool. All right. So there is, now that would be a gorgeous card, just as is. I mean, just exactly the way it is. It looks cool. Leaving it just black and white, I think, is awesome. There's no wrong way to do these cards. Now, I picked out some colors, and you can see them here. I just went with, because I really, truly was inspired by the colors that were in this. I just thought these were gorgeous. Sorry if you're hearing some like crazy noises over here. My dog has found a box that just got delivered, and he's like, oh, I haven't opened the box yet, but he's thinking the box is like the best toy ever. So he's like nibbling away at the corner. Hey, Morgan, can you come grab the dog? Okay. Thank you, honey. All right. So then it's all just about coloring in. Now, if you want to be super detailed, these are just brush pens from Arteza. And it's the one that I had the most colors of. So it made life a little simpler for me to find colors that I was like, yeah, those look really good together. And it didn't clash with the color in my stamp itself. So I thought that was kind of fun, which is just a printable, which I thought was kind of fun. So I'm just coming in and coloring in. I picked 4 colors. You could pick 3. You could pick 10. You could really have fun. So this is where you just kind of go in. Let me move this out of the way. And you just start coloring and having fun with your coloring. And just coloring it in. You can leave it super big colored. Like you could have done each one of those separately. It really depends on what you're wanting for your card and how detailed you want to make it. So if you just want to do some little light colorings and not get super engrossed into the detail of it, but I think having the stamps kind of coming off the page a little bit looks really awesome. To me, it just looks cool. And then just brush it in and just enjoy the art of the coloring. Enjoy just filling it in, being peaceful, put on some nice music, put on a movie. You could stamp a whole bunch of these up. And the cool thing about the Slimline card is that it allows you to put it into a regular size envelope. This is a very flat card, so it's very, very simple to pop into the mail for somebody and to let them know how much you enjoy them. I've seen these posts lately, and maybe you guys have seen them, where it's nursing homes because they're not getting the visitors that they normally would because of just all the COVID stuff going on right now. I'm just going to keep on hitting the little bits. And so I just happened to scroll through this one, and it was a nursing home here in Texas, not near where I am, but still, I mean, it's a postcard or a letter is the same. And they're like, we're looking for pen pals. And it's just, and they put like this poster in front of them with their name. And then it had kind of like a standard, here's the address, the nursing home. And then you just put care of, and it just said their first name. And it said some things like, my name is so-and-so, and these are the things I like. So you want to send them a card. And because how much interaction are they getting? I mean, truly, if you're in a nursing home, there are exceptions, but you're not, some of the people that are in the nursing homes, they don't get visitors every day, even on good days when all this mess wasn't happening. And then now with everything happening, they're told they can't get visitors. They're really there by themselves, which is awful. So, I mean, popping a card into somebody, it's a complete stranger, which is what's wrong with sending a stranger a beautiful card. Or it could be a family member you haven't seen in a long time. That's the beautiful thing about these. And here's the other thing. You could even, because you've created this, you could send them the card, and then you could send them another version of this that they color in. And you made them their own coloring thing, which I think is fun. So you're just going to color it in. I'm not going to sit here and bore you with massive, massive colorings. And then what I did, and I'll finish coloring this later, but you can see the idea of what this looks like. So what you're going to go in, and I've already pre-cut this. I mean, this is how simple this card is. But again, think of all the beautiful stamps that you have that would work for this particular card. I think it'd be absolutely amazing. Fold over your paper here. So this is what makes the A2, or sorry, a slimline card. You take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it's already 8.5, and then you just cut it at 7. So you just cut, make sure you keep on the 8.5, cut it at the 7 inches, fold it in half. This is a slimline card. And then I just got a black mat because I thought the black would look really pretty and just make the whole card just kind of pop, right? And then just layer it. This is not a super hard card. It's a great way. I mean, you guys could take any kind of principles you want, any stamps that you have, and just start building it out, making a background, adding a sentiment to there, put the sentiment here, put it in the middle, put it on the side, build it out, color it in. Super easy, relaxing. I think I needed a chill moment. It's been kind of a crazy week. I don't know. You guys have had crazy weeks. I don't know about you guys. You've had like nuts, but look how simple that is. And they're really stunning when they're done. I think they really have kind of a big pop with the black on the white and then just little pops of color, and just keeping it simple. I just think it has a really big effect. And so you can just come in and color, and you can even like assemble it. So you could even send somebody this card not colored in and say, you could send them one colored, one not colored. They're not thick cards. They would go really easy in the mail. And then that's it. I mean, so simple. So what we're going to do now is let's rearrange. I already showed you what it looked like when it was all put together. I'm going to flip this so it doesn't affect my design here. Actually, I'm going to do this real fast. Get any ink. So I'm going to show you. I'm using this background here, and you could put a blank sheet of paper in here. Just using this just to get all of the ink off, because we're going to build this on our other cards. So how could you rebuild and make a different design? So I'm going to flip this so it's nice and clean. Let's put, and this time, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. So this is how if you wanted to do it from the center. And I'm going to do a little marking right here and right here. So I know it was this corner that I'm building off of. This corner. I don't want to mark on this corner. So I'm giving myself my guide. Okay, that's the corners. And I'm not worried about the top, because if I can line it up with these two corners, I know I have it centered. I'll still put the magnets on here. But now let's play around with changing it up some, right? So let's move. Maybe I don't want to use the big one this time, or maybe I do. I mean, you can really have some fun. So now we can build, I don't want to have it like here, like this. So instead of having it all the way on the card here, or here's another option, we're going to put this all the way on here, and let's build in the center. And let's grab one of the fun centers. So this one that said looked like a virus, pop that in there and give that a center now. And so that's where this builder part comes from, right? So now we're going to stick this one. I want to have this one kind of come off into the corner here. And this really pretty one, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. We're going to stick this one here. So this is where you can start having fun with it. I like them when they kind of look like they're coming off the page. I think it's cool. Now, the other option is, just kind of playing around with them, is that you can put this here. Like you could have this be right in the center like this, and then you pick it up and then you line it up so that it creates that full mandala. Lots of options here. That's how you can get the semicircle to work for you. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll have this one come a little bit further off the page, and then we'll do the second iteration on that one. So I'll finish the circle with that. This one, so this was actually two pieces. If you notice, that was this guy right here. So now we're going to build this one. We're going to put it right here. Just a little smidgen of a corner coming off of there. Really kind of playing around with it. Let's put this one here. So just have fun, build. Here, we'll do this one this time. There, and then we'll add this one here. Okay, and then we can come back and do a second layer. So we're not done. This is just the first round. And I've got my markings of where I want to put everything. So now I'm going to place this one down again. So this is just still using the same main base, but now I can change up where I want to put my stuff. So you really can have fun with this. Okay, so now I got to reline this back up. Make sure it's sticky because some of these stamps I've not used yet. Now I'm going to just really do a double check on this. I want to make sure this is nice and centered because it just didn't look that way. And put that in the center there. There we go. That looks a little more centered to me. Hello, Donna. Hello, hello. I'd love if you, oh, I have my stamp upside down. Oh, how many of you guys have done that? Did you see, guys, what I did? I have my stamp, so I would be stamping flat and not getting all the cool details. I got to clean this. So I'm just going to put this off to the side. I'll clean that in a minute. All my others, I have done that so many times. I want to make sure that my stamps, yeah, they're all good. All my other stamps are facing the correct direction. I don't want to bore you guys with, I'll reuse one of these other ones in that space. Okay, so we're going to do a few stamps. Make sure my hands are clean because I just touched that stupid stamp that I put upside down, but I'm glad I caught it now versus later. But, you know, you can always reprint off or recut a new page. You could also, here's the other thing, you could do the entire sheet of a slimline card or a regular size card. The whole thing could be a whole strip of mandalas. You wouldn't even need a sentiment if you don't want to. I mean, that's the fun part about this. Okay, so make sure I need to restamp that big guy. I'm just going to restamp all of them and push really hard. And you could also do this instead of doing it in black. There's so many beautiful colors of ink out there. You could have fun with that, and you could do like this in black, but then this one would be in a color. So you can have fun with your ink colors versus just coloring them in. That can be a therapy within itself. So you really play around with the colors. This big guy needs a little bit more oomph. Okay. See, I was tad off. Even though I've got this lined up on here, I was just a smidgen off. So it's given that impression of a little bit of a shadow. Oops. That is a downfall to these stamps, or to just stamping in general, is that if you don't line it up. And that's, I took that, instead of nestling it right in the corner, I went in the center so I could give it, and it was just a smidgen off. Oh well. Okay, so now I want to finish this guy. So I'm going to build it right here. So see how I'm just kind of finishing the circle? There we go. And then I'm going to put, let's do this one in the center here. This is where we can build a new one right there. And I don't want to get my other stamp dirty. So we'll put this sunflower again in the corner. There we go. And we'll take this guy off. So now you start building it up, and maybe, should we do a little guy right here? Let's do a little guy right there. Oh, and that one didn't get clean, but I already pulled it off. Rats, I just noticed that didn't get finished. And there's no way I'd be able to line that back up again. That would be very hard. Okay, so, oh, okay, that worked, but now I got to reline up. So because I'm using my grid paper as my line here, I need to make sure that my grid paper is all the way flush in the center every single time so it's not misaligned. So, am I looking good? Yeah. The only one that makes a big difference are the ones that are like the center ones, and then finishing this mandala on this side here. So, I didn't do the greatest stamping. Oops. But you get the idea. That's a much better stamp than that one. But I'm going to do a second stamp, and I'm going to, just to keep it consistent, because otherwise it's going to bug me. And I'm going to do the, I'm titching it just to, so everything looks like it's got a bit of a fuzz on it. I know that's kind of like, why is she purposely messing up her paper? Well, because then it's all the same. Everything is messed up on purpose. And everything has a little bit, even though I touched it, it still kind of left it perfect, or somewhat perfect. So now you get the idea. There we go. And I could go back in and I could add a center to this, and I could add a fun piece. So this is another version of the same card where you're really building it. And is it blurry enough where it makes that big of a difference? No, not even close. There is, this one is the only one that really kind of bothers me because it's kind of falling off the page. But there's a really easy way to fix that. So I'm going to grab my black pen, and I am going to complete little loopies where I know they're at. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's going to look a little better than if I didn't do anything. So this is a way to kind of fix. Now it doesn't look so obvious that I messed it up. Ta-da! Now you could totally leave this card the same. So just take a look. If you left this card without coloring it, look at that. And that looks really pretty all in itself. So the only pop of color is coming from that sentiment that I printed out on my printer. And that looks really cool in itself too. So many fun ways to do it. You could also take this, and if you've got like spray mist, you could spray it, you know, once everything has, you know, I think this stuff sets pretty quick. This is the Intense Premium Dye ink. It's made for markers and stuff. So it works pretty darn awesome. So that is our little tutorial today, how to take some of your stamps, if you've got mandala stamps already, or if you've got flower stamps. Think any kind of circular type stamp that you might have. I mean, look, here's a flower, you get the idea. And build on them. Place them off the page. Slimline cards are so fun because you really can kind of play around with how it's orientated and how it's working. You could also, instead of doing full coloring, you could do partial coloring. You could really half color it in, or you could leave it totally blank. So many fun ways that you can do that. It's just a little bit of some therapy. Play with the sentiment that you want to put in here, or get rid of the sentiment and do the entire thing as all just colored in, covered in. It's up to you. Or give this as a kind of encouragement or a uplifting card to somebody. I think these are so fun. So find a person that needs a card, and you could be hand delivering it to them. You could also give these as gifts if you want to, because they could color it in. Have all kinds of fun. Links are down in the information section where you can get your own cards. Thank you guys so much. This is a little sneaky peeky of my next digital collection for my stamps that are coming soon. So be ready for that one. Give you guys a little sneak peek on that today. And I will see you guys again later. Bye, everybody.